After years of ruling the beverage industry as a leader, the leading company faced a turbulent time in the middle of the 1980s. The company struggled with an extreme market shift against its primary rival, Pepsi. The Cola War pushed both companies to go far, beyond their limits, whether it was about product packaging, marketing, or the product itself. The rival company gained popularity on the ground through its Pepsi Challenge, while Coke, despite its global presence and iconic status, felt the pressure to change to get back its place in the market. The pressure led the company to make one of the most controversial decisions. It tested the loyalty of its customers, or may shake the foundation of the brand from its heart, Coca-Cola. Executives now clearly analyzed the changing landscape of the beverage market, and they saw the troubling signs appeared continuously. The rival drink gained popularity among the young generation, particularly through the blind taste test, which significantly highlights its sweeter taste. By 1983, the leading drink had been losing its market share to diet soft drinks and non-cola beverages. After World War II, Coca-Cola held 60% of the market share for cola, which decreased to 24% because of the Pepsi-Cola competition. The rival drink had increased its sales in supermarkets more than Coke, while the leading soft drink stayed in places like vending machines and fast food restaurants. Fans of Coke were now baby boomers and preferred diet drinks because now they are health and weight conscious. However, the younger generation was mostly in favor of the rival soft drink. The leading drinks executives started a secret project led by marketing VP Sergio Zeman and USA President Brian Dyson to create a new flavor of Coke. They named this Project Kansas, inspired by a famous photo of the journalist William Allen White while drinking the beverage. After completion of this project, they conducted a test taste, and the results were surprising. The sweeter flavor beats both the drink Coke and Pepsi. In the southeastern U.S., a key market particularly for Coca-Cola people, are more preferred the new flavor. And this preference grew when they knew it was a product of Coca-Cola. Most of the testers said they wanted to buy the new Coke, while some of them needed time to adjust the taste. However, 10% to 12% of testers were upset by the change and said they might stop drinking Coke. So these unhappy testers influenced others in the focus group, which brought more negative results. So these market surveys, which were less negative at that time, played a vital role in later convincing the management to change the formula in 1985. But no one would see that it also hinted at extreme public resistance. Management was against the sale of new Coke as a separate one because bottlers were already frustrated by adding new products. The CEO of the company, Roberto Goizueta, once improved sales by slightly changing the flavor of the drink. So, this experience made him believe more strongly that the new flavor would maximize profits. The day April 23, 1985, the company took a bigger risk in consumer goods history and introduced the new formula of the iconic drink. The new Coke was initially sold in the original drinks packaging, while bottlers were using cans, cartoons, and labels before the new packaging was available. The press conference at New York City's Lincoln Center to introduce the new Coke did not go well, as the rival drink worried about their progress, already given tough questions to reporters. The CEO described the new flavor as bolder, rounder, and more harmonious. He defended the change by saying that the new formula was untouchable. Also said that back in 1935, the company already modified the formula for kosher certification to make it both halal and vegetarian. Coca-Cola launched huge marketing campaigns to promote the new Coke in New York and Washington, D.C., where workers received free cans and thousands more were handed out in Lafayette Park. Sales in New York, Miami, and Detroit provided the same results as their market research, and surprisingly, sales increased by 8% compared to the previous year. But the real challenge was waiting in the South, where the beverage had its deepest roots. Only loyal fans accepted its new flavor, but many others were upset, just as the focus groups had predicted. However, it had to tackle many critics from the South U.S. because it was the place where the beverage was deeply connected to its regional identity. Even some of them saw the change as a symbolic defeat to North, since Pepsi was based in New York. Also, a survey by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution at the Varsity, a popular local restaurant, showed that more people preferred the old flavor. the company received 40,000 calls and letters, expressing the disappointments, including one letter that asked for the autographs of executives as the dumbest executives. In American business history, New Coke remained popular in most of the United States, but the resistance in the South continued. So the executives were unsure of how the global market would react to this change, but instead of their expectations, international bottlers in Monaco found little interest in selling the new Coke. Meanwhile, the rival drink took full advantage of this backlash, as its ads claim, "Now I know why Coke did it." Despite the public disappointment with Coke, the rival drink gained only a few long-term customers. However, their sales increased to 14%, the highest one in the company's history. On the other hand, the leading drink communication director, Carlton Curtis, realized that customers were only not upset, but also frustrated that the original formula was gone. After the Coke announcement, Roger Enrico, head of PepsiCo, ran a full-page ad on New York Times stating that Pepsi was the winner of the Cola Wars. He gave his company employees a wide holiday while stating, "By today's action, Coke has admitted that it's not the real thing." In May, some of Coca-Cola's executives were secretly advocating for the return of the original formula. In June, sales reports disclosed that New Coke's initial success was stopped flowing. The situation became more serious when protests and boycotts took place in many cities with empty bottles of New Coke. Also, the bottlers who supported the change were in crisis. They struggled to market the product. Some of them even faced social backlash from friends and family. On June 11, 1985, just after 79 days of the new Coke's debut, Coca-Cola executives held a press conference in which they announced the return of the original formula. The public response to this was overwhelming, highlighting the classic return of the beverage and its deep connection to its consumers. After the reintroduction of the original formula, the company continues to sell New Coke under the name of Coke until 1990 and Coke 2 afterward. However, the original formula was marketed as Coca-Cola Classic, which is often publicly referred to as Old Coke. But still, not all people were convinced that the classic drink had the same taste as they enjoyed years later. Some customers claimed that the taste was different, and they were not entirely wrong. While most of the bottlers had already switched to high-fructose corn syrup, HFCS, before the new Coke controversy, still a few had already been using sugarcane. However, the return of Coca-Cola Classic required all the bottlers to use HFCS, subtly altering the taste for those regions. Despite initial confusion and debates, Coca-Cola Classic reclaimed its status as the dominant one. So, it proves that the leading drink's legacy goes far beyond the taste. It was deeply connected to emotions, nostalgia, and brand loyalty. Just 6 months after the introduction of the classic drink, the sales of the leading drink doubled as compared to the rival drink. By the end of the year 1985, Coca-Cola Classic had re-established itself while outselling both New Coke and Pepsi. For decades, leading drink executives were busy analyzing what were their mistakes or what they did wrong. They ultimately concluded that the real mistake wasn't in the taste of New Coke, but in underestimating the loyal customers' emotional attachment to the original formula. At the time, customers saw the controversy as the company's failure to understand its brand identity, a belief that remains widely accepted to this day. While this had become a traditional wisdom, some analysis suggested that other factors like massive publicity and emotional brand loyalty play a vital role in bringing back the cultural icon again. Looking back in history, the experiment of New Coke is one of the most fascinating experiences in branding and consumer goods psychology. The leading drink unexpectedly underestimated the public sentiments and the entire public, but the public didn't sit silently. Particularly South US people, they aimed to bring back their original drink, which was their regional identity. The backlash highlighted how deeply consumers were connected with the original flavor, not just as a beverage, but as a cultural icon. So, again, Coca-Cola appeared stronger than before, strengthening its image as a brand that always prioritized and listened to its customers. However, its marketing blunder turned into an example of corporate strength, proving that even the most powerful brand may experience a downfall if they don't respect their consumers' emotional connection. Yet below this whole rivalry drama hides another story, a story of secrecy of the formula that made the drink iconic and leading drink in just a few months. This mystery has grown over time, fueling fascination among its fans. But no one knows what lies behind this secret formula and how it became such an integral part of Coca-Cola's lasting legacy. Is the magic of the soft drink hidden in its ingredients? What makes the leading drink formula so iconic? And why did the company still keep it a secret?